I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight to support their friends, families, and competitors, and help celebrate their outstanding achievements. Tonight, you will see 21 people grace the stage to share their gratitude and rejoice in their success over not only the 23 racing season, but in some cases, a lifetime worth of achievement. None of this would be possible without the help of our gracious sponsors. Sorry. Stage left. Now join me in welcoming Ann Fitzgerald to the stage to introduce our 2023 Honor Squadron inductees.
He just told me the lights are right in my eyes, so I'm hoping I can read. While I'm telling you who our Honor Squadron Committee is, I'd like the Honor Squadron people that are in the audience to come up front here like we usually do. Thank you. Okay, our Honor Squadron Committee, Dee Berghauser, Bruce Broussard, Stephen David, Fred Howenstein, Bobby Moore, Sally Titus, and Mark Weber. They all do a great job reviewing the 9 nominations that we had this year, and we have 2 very qualified people to be inducted in the Honor Squadron. Thank you. And as I look out in the audience, I see so many people that could be nominated for this award. So keep that in mind, read the criteria, and please get your nominations to me. In the meantime, we're going to let the video roll for our first nominee.
Since her introduction into the boat racing family in 1976, Robin Shane has served as a committee member, racer, and official for APBA on the local, regional, and national levels. She assisted in the research of fuel testing and life jacket buoyancy and was the driving force in getting new procedures and rules written for them. Robin is currently the chair or co-chair of the Thundercat, New Class, and Special Events committees. She is also on the Race Management Committee and on the board of the APBA Historical Society. Robin has held many region leadership positions and spent her career improving the region trailers, scales, and safety boats. Robin let people drive her 1.5 stock while she was an active driver, and many of those people are still involved today. This led her to establish the Inboard J project, then expanding it to the Outboard programs, helping to grow the sport from the ground up. Congratulations, Robin, on your induction into the APBA Honor Squadron.
Congratulations, Robin. Here's your chance to say a few words.
Well, now I gotta get my glasses on, and she's right. It is gonna be hard to see. I'm honored to be inducted into the Honor Squadron. APBA has truly become a passion of mine and, of course, my entire family. I was introduced to APBA by my husband, Stuart, whom I met on a blind date, and he showed me a picture of some boat that I didn't even know was a boat during the couples only out there, because we weren't a couple then. Our second date was at the garage, dirt floor, oil heater. It was a mess. But if I hadn't met Stuart, my life path probably would have turned out quite differently considering the childhood that I had. I'm sure there aren't too many stories of a dad, a mom, a daughter, and a son out there racing against each other at the same time. But that was our family. There are other families coming up, the Stewarts and Iwancios. They're doing that now in Inboard. But Actually, it was the organization of APBA that made it possible for us to do this. Along with a lot of long nights in the garage and traveling with 4 tow vehicles and trailers before we wised up to make double-deck trailers, and we have a metal fabrication shop. So, this is the family of APBA racing, where we can compete with all of our hearts and at the end of the day, get together to have a drink and some fun nights. I love the fact that my family is now entering into the 3rd generation of racers. The joy it brings to have your kids and grandkids out there is just indescribable. Being able to help introduce the sport to the lives of other people, either with equipment or driving schools, is also the love that I cannot describe. This organization has allowed me to travel across the United States and across portions of the globe. I have bountiful stories to tell, some good, some not so good, and some I don't want my kids and grandkids to know. But I work with great people of like-mindedness, their passions. I'm quite sure there are people who have not always agreed with what I've had to say, but that always happens in a big family. I've always tried to bring a different perspective and an open mind because we want this organization to thrive. And I've met many people in the varied aspects of this racing organization, and it just warms my heart to know that I have friends I can call on to help with racing, and to know that they are here tonight, having traveled thousands of miles to help celebrate this award with me. Again, I'm honored to be chosen, and I will share this with my husband, Stuart, my daughter, Kelly, and her husband, Adam Allen, and my son, Jimmy, and of course, the grandkids, Sydney, Colton, Hudson, and Quinn, plus all of my friends who are essentially all the people of APBA. Many, many thanks and love to you all.
Congratulations, Robin. All right, let's roll with the next inductee.
Steve Wilde's racing career began in 1958, and he is now the race chairman of the East Bay Boat Club after having held every position over his 65-year membership. Steve was a driving force in conducting races and bringing new race sites to the region. Steve has been active as a racer and official over the years, racing the A stock classes and working as a stock, mod, pro, and OPC inspector since the late 60s. He designed and fabricated a digital scale for use out west, making it easier to inspect the height and tuck measurements on the boats. In 1970, Steve made new scanners and reassembled timing mechanisms to be digital for time trials. His equipment has traveled the country, improving time trials from California to Florida and expanding into the offshore category. Steve was appointed to the SORC in 1979 and has served on the commission since. He was an integral part of approving many of the changes in stock racing that made things better for the sport. Congratulations, Steve, on your induction into the APBA Honor Squadron.
Boy, that's some light. Thank you very much to the Honor Squadron Committee and also Ernie Daw for putting my name up for consideration. APBA has offered me so much over the years. It was such a grand experience to see all these wonderful people and come to the meetings and the nationals and so on. And also thanks to my kids, Pam and Dan, for picking up the sport and basically keeping me in it. It's so much fun to watch your kids win races, more fun than I had because I didn't win very many races. Thank you, APBA.
Congratulations, Steve and Robin. Now we'll do our traditional walkthrough along the line. We'll take some time to do that.
As most of you can see, Becky got me a chair because there was so much going back and forth, and she showed it to me today. And I looked at it and I did a lap around it, looking to see if it was electrified. And then it hit me. I thought, well, if it's electrified, it's probably for Fairchild, right? Well, wait, maybe someone thought Ed was still doing this job. The next award is the Gary Romberg Memorial Leadership Award. Each year, this award shall be presented during the APBA National Meeting. This award was previously the Don Allen Senior Memorial Leadership Award, and even though Senior would not approve of me mentioning him, I know that my father would approve. I also know that there are still a number of folks in this room, including more than a few kids and grandkids, that remember him fondly. This award honors service contributions to the American Powerboat Association in areas of leadership, officiating, safety, or other activities contributing to the benefit of APBA, not directly related to the racing of a specific boat. In other words, this award goes to the guys and gals behind the scenes, working at the scorer's table, the judges' stand, inspection, or as officers of the association. These are the unsung heroes that keep the races and the association running. That being said, let me go through a few of the contributions made by this year's winner. This individual worked in the offshore rescue and safety for 20 years. As a leader, he has set an example for every other offshore racing rescue diver that has crossed his professional path. He's the chairman of the APBA Offshore Safety Commission, and as such, has brought about some of the most impactful improvements to the overall safety of APBA offshore racing. Just to name a few of a very long list. This person contributed to the 2022 APBA Offshore Safety Rules Rewrite. He was instrumental in creating and implementing minimum standards of qualifications for offshore racing safety personnel, EMT and paramedics, rescue diver certification. Implementing capsule suit requirements for all canopied offshore racing boats. His knowledge and passion for offshore racing safety and his consistent level of professionalism has set the example for all offshore racing safety personnel. Please join me in welcoming James J.R. Andersen.
James J.R. Andersen has been involved in offshore racing rescue and safety for over 20 years.
Recipient
James is chair of the Offshore Safety Committee that, under his leadership, has brought about some of the most impactful improvements to the overall safety of APBA offshore racing. He created and implemented minimum standards of qualifications for offshore racing personnel, including EMT, paramedic, and rescue diver certification. He implemented capsule suit requirements for all canopied offshore racing boats and updated helmet standards for all offshore competitors. James established a minimum number of safety assets and personnel for each race course and developed a pre-race safety inspection for all offshore race boats. James is also the lead safety inspector at offshore events, and his leadership has no doubt prevented tragedies. His selfless contributions and dedication to the APBA and offshore racing is the reason he is the perfect candidate for the Gary Romberg Memorial Leadership Award.
All right, guys, to start with, as a safety and rescue guy, when I found out this was happening, it was something really hard for me to let sink in because, getting an award like this is not why we come to the races. We come to the races with a mission, with a job, and that's keep everybody safe, send them home on Sunday. And so I've tried to let this sink in over the past few days, and I realized one main thing was that even though I'm getting the award, this is really a team effort. And that's one thing that we have done over the past 20 plus years is basically everything that was just mentioned was part of my speech. But we've really built a team, we've built standards, and it's not 20 years ago anymore. We've set a new bar, we've set a new goal, and we're just going to keep moving forward. But I couldn't have done that without the guys that I work with. And I would like to bring up on stage the guys who helped me get this award here, because without these guys, I wouldn't be here, okay? So I need Sean Steiner, I need Artie Gatlin, I need Dakota, I need y'all to come up here because y'all are just as big a part of this as I am. But I appreciate everybody. We're moving forward from here, and we're going to keep doing what we do. Sean? Here's Artie. All right, guys, once again, thank you. Unexpected, still letting it sink in, but thank you guys very much.
Thanks, JR. And now for the APBA's most prestigious non-racing award, the last award before the Hall of Champions presentation, the Charles D. Strang Ultimate Service Award. Charlie was born in Brooklyn, New York in April of 1921. He graduated from what is now NYU Poly. Prior to joining OMC, he was faculty member at MIT and chief engineer for Mercury Marine. Charlie is the inventor of the modern stern drive. And this one hits a little bit closer to home. From 1998 to 2009, Strang was NASCAR National Commissioner. I have a little bit to do with NASCAR, but I've never been called in front of Charlie. Charlie died in March of 2018 at the age of 96. The Charles D. Strang Ultimate Service Award, developed in 2010, is given to one individual who exemplifies the highest standards of devotion and accomplishment for the benefit of the APBA through unselfish service to APBA, as has been uniquely set by Charles Strang during his more than 7 decades of continuous membership. Any candidate for this honor must meet the following minimum requirements. First, the candidate must be a current member of APBA and the Honor Squadron and must have met these requirements during the 9 years preceding the candidacy. Second, the candidate must have been active in unselfish, beneficial service to APBA without deriving financial benefits related to these services for the 10 years preceding their candidacy. The recipient of the award will be selected by the committee chaired by the president of APBA. I would now like to welcome Mark Weber, who's last year's recipient, to present this year's Charlie D. Strang Ultimate Service Award.
Good evening. Wow, that light is bright. This year's winner is really, really special. You know, we're all friends and everything in the sport. We can agree to disagree and argue and everything else. This individual is a personal friend. I've known her for a long, long time. She started racing in 1975 through about 2005. She was a national champion. She set world records. We actually helped each other strategically racing when I was in the 5 liters and her in the 2.5 stocks, and we actually got a competitive edge together as a team. She's involved in the local club Winding River the entire time and still is involved in the club. Active in Region 3 and still helps and mentors people in the region to get their, help them on race management, etc. She was the chairman of the Atlantic City APBA convention. She was inducted in the Honor Squadron in 1994. She spent over 25 years working with the IRC as a commissioner, series, corporate sponsor, sales, and promotions of our sport to make sure that everyone knew who APBA was. She ran, I think, the second best inboard race in the country, Hydrofest in New Jersey, only second to Salina, Ohio. That would have been my race. And she hired me to run her race, so there you go. Currently, she is the chairman of the Honor Squadron. She mentors the race committees, various on the East Coast, and she is on the Inboard Awards Committee and helps put that function together on Friday night. It is absolutely my pleasure to announce Ann Fitzgerald as the Charles D. Strang Award.
Well, it took me a while to get over the shock of this award. We've been involved, John and I have been involved with APBA since 1970. And right from the get-go, we had a passion for this sport. Right from the beginning, we found ourselves involved locally, regionally, and nationally. And we were getting so much back from this APBA community. We're still in it. Now we're sort of elders of this APBA family. And I've learned there's still room for us, even though we're getting older. And I think maybe we'll survive as long as Charlie was in the organization. But we got started late. I was 32 when I started to race. And I lasted into my 60s, believe it or not. And from 1975 into the 2000s. And along the way, there were a couple of people that really influenced my passion for this sport to make it better. One of those was Tony Scartine. And I know some of the older people in APBA will remember him. He got us involved in the national level. And before I know it, I was going to the annual meetings, helping Tony. What I loved about Tony is he had passion and vision, bringing professionalism into our inboard racing. And I'll never forget 1983, the group that was going to put the 1984 annual meeting on was not able to do it. Back then, the clubs and the regions hosted the annual meeting, and he comes to me. I've had 1 year experience at the annual meeting, and he always called me Ann. He says, Ann, I know you can do it. You know people in Atlantic City. And next thing I know, we're rallying all of our region people and put on a really dynamite annual meeting for our members. We had the boardwalk, we had the Budweiser boat on the boardwalk. We had a whole ballroom full of race boats, and I was determined to put APBA and powerboat racing in the limelight of motorsports. So I continue racing, and I realized that many times I was the only woman in our inboard racing, and I never made gender, never played the gender card, but I want to know all those young gals out there that want to race. You can do it. I had a lot of support behind me. Fortunately, I have a husband, even though he's another generation. He supported me through all of my racing. And you can meet those fellas in the first turn. And I hope that my story is an inspiration to all of you to go out there and race and do your thing. Along the way, I found myself getting more and more interested in promotion and marketing and doing everything we could to promote our sport. We would do motorsport shows, parades, make up promotional materials. Loved every bit of it. And here I am after over 50 years, and I still have the passion for this sport. I would still get in the boat if I didn't have such arthritic hands and back issues. And I've told our driver that I spot for, his uniform fits me, so watch out. Maybe one of these days I'll get back in the boat. Now, another person that really influenced all that I do for APBA is Mark Weber. Smart aleck Mark Weber, Persephone Mark Weber, who always have an answer for anything. But boy, we worked on so many projects together for the betterment of inboard racing. He taught me a lot, and I took a lot of that into helping inboard racing get sponsorships when we had our series. And then I had an opportunity in 2001 to take on an event for inboard racing that was just a small event, but I had the vision that I could make it one of the best events that inboard racing had, and that was the Wildwoods Hydrofest. We got 15 to 20,000 spectators, 70, 75 vendors, and we were bringing boats in from all over the country and Canada. I felt that was a really good way to give back to this sport that's given so much to me. I'm really, really honored to get this award in Charlie's name. I was glad I got to meet him. And one other person I have to thank is my husband, John Fitzgerald. He created the monster in me with the powerboat racing. It has never left me, and we're still at it. And I hope we do last as long as Charlie Strang in this sport. I love you, John. Thank you for all you've given to me. Thank you again. I appreciate this very much.
Thanks, Ann, and congratulations. And now your class of 2023 Hall of Champions. Since 1974, the Hall of Champions has been APBA's highest racing honor. Tonight, we recognize 18 unique individuals for their accomplishments throughout the 23 season. 6 of these individuals will be their first time being inducted. For one, it will be the 10th. And that same person is getting in through 2 categories. As we introduce our next class of inductees, we ask that all previous APBA Hall of Champion inductees stand for for a round of applause. If you've ever been in the hall, stand up. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. And now, please welcome the APBA Hall of Champions class of 2023.
Elise Hearn is a 12-year-old powerhouse in the world of boat racing. She's your 2023 national champion in both J Hydro and J Runabout, and the J Runabout North American champion. With 2 quarter-mile speed records under her belt, Ellie is rewriting the rules of what it means to be a young racing prodigy. Keep an eye on this rising star as she continues to break barriers and leave her competition in the dust.
Last year I wanted to be like my sisters so badly and get into Hull or win a Nationals, but that didn't happen. Last year I didn't even win a Nationals. One class I jumped the gun, and the second my carburetor needed to be rebuilt. It definitely seemed like an end of the world at the time, but this year made up for that. This year was super fun because of all my friends and family. We went to West Virginia for the record runs and got to see tunnel boats. This year couldn't have happened without all the people that helped me, so I'd like to thank them now. First, I needed to thank God because this wouldn't be possible without him. Mom, you have helped me so much throughout this racing season, from helping me find my racing gloves in our messy trailer to calming me down when something bad happens. I remember at Grass Lake when I stalled in the middle of the race course, the first heat. I came in off the race course so upset, but somehow when I went back onto the course, I had a smile on my face. I knew right when I came in you would tell me to calm down, and that's what you did. I don't think I could tell you how many times this has happened. Thank you for always being there when I need a big hug. Izzy, I don't think that I would have made it into the water half the time without you, but that isn't the only thing you've done for me. I remember sitting in my boat a bunch of races being scared because I thought I'd fall on my boat or flip, but you always just said, Ellie, you're in a J, you're not gonna flip. I was always still scared to death for some reason, but you made it a bit better by just standing by my boat talking to me. I also remember when I would let off the throttle in the turns. You didn't like that very much, and you'd say, Ellie, don't slow down. We can all see it. Stop doing that. I'm definitely going to miss you a lot when you go off to college. Theo, I just want to start off with saying that you always have a way to cool me down on a hot day in the pits, whether it's with a squirt gun, a bucket of water, or with popsicles, although you only give them to me when I pay you to do it. Corey, first off, I just want to ask why you would never get popsicles for me. I mean, there's no reason for you to not. I'm always so nice to you. I don't ever annoy you. I don't antagonize you. And I definitely don't annoy you when your friends are over. But actually, I'm so happy you're at all of the races because I would have drifted off into the middle of the lake so many times if it weren't for you. Ava, even though you're not here, I'm still going to thank you. I know that at almost every race we fight about who is supposed to untie the boats, but I will always remember you standing by my boat telling me what time to be at the 1,000-foot pin. I didn't like listening to you, but I always did. I will always remember you hanging out with me when Corey and Izzy went off to hang out with other people at the boat races, even if it was just for a little bit. Mila, thank you for all the popsicles you've gotten me. I remember when you got a basket for the front of your bike, you said, I got a basket for the front of my bike, so when you asked me to go get you popsicles and drinks, I have a hand to bike with. Gigi, I'm so thankful for all the food you've made us. I don't think I would eat at races if it weren't for you. I don't know how you do it, but you always have good food in your fridge. Papa Joe, I cannot be more serious this time. I actually can't count the amount of times you've woken up at about 3 in the morning to go testing and work on our motors. You're out testing in freezing cold weather for us. I'm pretty sure my mom has a picture of you testing with your wetsuit on when there's snow on the ground. Thank you for all that you do for us. Trayden, I know I didn't see you much during the racing season, but you're such an amazing brother. You're so funny, and you have made the past few years so much fun. Last but definitely not least, my dad. I hope one day I have as many dates on my whole jacket as you do, even though that probably won't even happen. You've helped me so much through this racing season, and you've helped me with my starts. Whenever I actually listen to you, I always nail them. You have helped me with my motor so many times, like at Grass Lake when I had a hole in my gas line, you fixed it. Or when my carburetor needed rebuilt, you immediately rebuilt it. I wouldn't be up here if it weren't for you. You never stop trying, even when I'm frustrated and want to give up. Even though you are helping so many other people, you still help me without getting upset most of the time. I'm so grateful that I have you to help me with everything. I know this was kind of long, but I'm so lucky to have all these amazing people to help me through the racing season, and I don't think I could really put into words how much I love them. Thank you.
A legend in the making, Carson Kelly returns to the APBA Hall of Champions for the second year in a row. For the 2023 season, Carson struts an impressive collection of 2 divisional championships, 2 national championships, and 4 high point championships, not to mention blazing 3 new speed records and securing a North American Championship title. With an impressive track record and a bright future ahead, keep your eyes on this stud as he continues to make waves.
I'd like to start off by thanking my mom and dad for all they do, and also my biggest supporter and best picker, Asher. This year we got to buy a Bennett runabout. In that runabout, I set 2 records, 1 a nationals and a national high points. I won every heat I entered except for 1, and that's because I forgot to fill up my gas tank. Another cool thing I got to do this year was to travel on a plane all by myself, all the way to Cincinnati, where my temporary parents, Austin and Aaron Vanover, picked me up and took care of me all throughout nationals. First, I went to Depew, where I won K-Pro Runabout, and then I went to Wakefield and won AX Runabout. By the end of the year, I ran roughly 82 races for 165 heats for a total of 37,229 points. I won 2 national championships, set 3 records, got national high points in 4 classes, and won 6 divisional championships. All thanks to my parents, my grandparents, my Aunt Christina, my Uncle Scott, the Vanovers, and Paul Pittman for helping me at nationals, along with the Trillians for lending me a motor, Dave Bennett for selling me a runabout, my sponsor Seaway Marine, DeWald Props, Greg Jacobson, the Wines, the Gowans, and Lee and Chris Sutter. Thank you.
Jonathan Nilsen's success in the Pro Antique classes is plentiful. 2023 marks his 3rd trip to the APBA Hall of Champions with an impressive track record of 2 divisional, 3 national, and 3 high point championships. Holding the prestigious 1-mile competition record in C Racing Hydro and conquering all the antique classes, Nilsen is no stranger to victory.
All right. Thank you, APBA and the Pro Commission for this opportunity. This year was very grueling and very fun, with a lot of ups and downs that I'm sure every team has to go through each year. It's never easy, but somehow this team in particular, consistently, year after year, finds a way to make sure there are a lot more ups than there are downs. As with many of the other amazing drivers that are up here today, I would not be here if it wasn't for such an amazing team. So I'd like to take the time to thank those members. To the owners, Steve and Sherry Greaves, I am blessed to have such loving owners that are as unselfish as it comes. There are 2 owners that are more concerned about how I'm doing and how I feel about the setups and how I want to run the boats and what changes I want to make. Even after going out there and winning a heat, Steve will still ask me after every single heat, what changes can we make? It's that kind of passion that he still has for the sport this day that truly amazes me and motivates me each and every race. So thank you both so much for allowing me to be a part of your team. I also want to thank the Martin family, Doug, Anna, Maddie, and Jared. I cannot explain how much you all have helped and how much it means to me, all the help you've done on and off the course. I'm also looking very forward to another year with you, Doug, planning, driving, and strategizing with you every step of the way. And I just want to say it is no coincidence that our best props this year were the ones that you wanted us to try. And it's also rare and not often that you want to thank your biggest competitor. But it's also not very common that your biggest competitor is also someone that works on your engines. So I want to say thank you, Jack Campbell, for all the work you do for us and for the class as a whole. This class would not still be around or as competitive as it is if it wasn't for you. And I do hope to see you back next year. And finally, I came back to racing back in 2021 for one core reason, and that was to spend more time with family, more specifically to spend more time with my dad. I know we butt heads a lot, and we tend to let our tempers out without really thinking things through, but I feel like that just brings us closer, and I just want you to know that I cherish every race that we get to spend together now, and all the moments that we get to share in the past, the present now, and all the moments in the future. And I just want you to know how lucky and important those moments are to me. And then to end this, every year I come to races, whether it be national, regionally, any type of race, I always at some point get asked or get called either Jamie Nilsen's little brother or Jim Nilsen's son. And other people kind of come up to me and ask me, well, how does that make you feel after so long? And thinking about it, to be perfectly honest, it really doesn't bother me anymore because I'm so grateful and lucky to have two family members that have accomplished so much and been such great role models growing up with this sport and just in life in general. And I also know that all my success is due to both of them in this sport. So honestly, I'm just honored, and you can always call me Jim's son or Jamie's little brother. Thank you.
Jason Saylor was unstoppable in 2023. After 14 years of racing, he's finally found his way to the APBA Hall of Champions with his most impressive season yet. His list of achievements is nothing short of remarkable. National championships in 500, 700, and 1100cc runabout, high point championships in 700 and 1100cc runabout, a U.S. Title Series championship, and a divisional championship in 700cc runabout.
How's everybody doing tonight? A little nervous, not gonna lie. Just want to start out by thanking everybody from the APBA for having us here tonight. Being inducted into the Hall of Champions is an honor, and couldn't be possible without a badass race team and a lot of help. First and foremost, got to thank Mike Thurlby. He should be the guy standing up here tonight, and can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me. Julia Thurlby for putting up with all of us hooligans. These two mean the world to me, and I can't thank them enough for everything they've done for me the last 5 years. Got to thank my teammates, Austin, Andrew, and Brady, for all the shit talking on late nights. I seem to drive better pissed off and on a hangover. Eric Vanover, a.k.a. Dad Vanover, for keeping us all in line. Team Green is one big family, and I could stand up here all night thanking people, and I'm not going to get up here and miss somebody. So you guys know who you are, and I love each and every one of you. When I was 4 or 5, my mom asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I told her a boat racer. And when I graduated high school, I told her the same thing when she asked me that question. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for all the support and always being there for me and being the best role models a guy could ask for. Sid, for being my rock and my good luck charm. I love you. Thanks to all my friends and family that are here tonight and that couldn't make it. Couldn't be more lucky, and I love y'all. I've got to thank a few people that couldn't be here tonight. My great-grandfather for starting this thing over 100 years ago. My grandfather for keeping it going and teaching me at the young age of 9 that getting past on the inside was unacceptable. And to my dog Odie, this one's for you, dog. Thank you.
Chris Rinker is altering the rules of success. With an impressive Hall of Champions induction after only 4 years of F1 racing, he has proven his skills on the water. Notably, Rinker has set an astonishing Formula 200 record, hitting over 127 miles per hour on a quarter-mile straightaway. Alongside his 2023 National Championship, he has quickly made his mark on tunnel boat racing.
Hey Wes, man, it's almost Chris's time for his live stream for the Hall of Champions.
Yeah, but he's doing these customs for a long time.
You know how he is too. I don't want to be the one to go interrupt him.
Pick, rock, scissors. Loser goes and interrupts him.
Oh, all right. Got him. Oh man, yeah, but he ain't gonna fire his son-in-law.
That's true. Hey Chris, I hate to interrupt, but it's almost time to do your APBA live video.
Oh no! Oh dang! Hey, I'm sorry. I gotta go. But if you would, hit play on that. Watch it. I'll be right back.
You're in the pits with the real deal, Chris Rinker here at Lake Havasu Legend House.
I gotta get dressed. Make me the real deal.
Tic Tac. No, I do. There you go. Hey, how about a strap?
Oh, wow.
There we go. Gotcha. So when do we go live?
We are live.
We are live.
Yeah.
Oh no, here we go.
Hey everybody, coming to you live from the Houston International Boat Show. I truly wish I could be there in Orlando with you guys to accept this honor. Winning and being inducted into the Hall of Champions is a big deal, and I wish I could be there to accept the jacket. Unfortunately, I'm going to be here in Houston selling boats and supporting my sales team so I can support my race team. I know you guys understand that. Hope you enjoyed our video. We had a little fun with it, obviously. I have a lot of people to thank. James Chambers, who's put several people into the Hall of Champions. Neil Barclay, who is right there beside me from start to finish, putting me in the water, getting me dialed in. Matt Smith, logistics, driving. My beautiful bride, who could forget her, the Texas Heat. She makes it all happen. She supports me from start to finish. Of course, my dad, Scary Jerry. We've got a lot of other people that I'm missing, but I truly want to thank everybody that's put us together and done this, including Sylvan Pontoons. McLean Trailers has been a huge support for us. Roswell Marine Audio, they've done an incredible job helping us out, doing some marketing stuff. Wish I could be there to try the jacket on. I'm sure it'll fit. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the pits. And, you know, again, I'm truly honored to take this award and induction and do what we do with it and move on to the next year and hopefully have equally as blessed 2024. Anyway, thank you very much. Man, glad I got that over with. It's gonna be cold out there. Oh yeah, and by the way, apparel sales is gonna be through the roof in 2024.
Mark Schmerbauch is a star in the SST 45 class. With an impressive 6 trips to the Hall of Champions, his 2023 North American, High Point, and National Championships are icing on the cake. Mark continues to push boundaries and redefine excellence on the water.
Great. Good evening. I want to thank the HOC committee, especially Tracy and Becky Nichols, for an excellent job you have done this whole past weekend. I can't say enough for my good friend, Freddie Miller, the organizer of this event. His vision for this award being the greatest achievement to attain as a driver given out for this past racing season. Thanks to you, APBA. Without you, this night and all the great people who are involved in boat racing would not happen. Everyone here who has achieved this award, you are a champion. Congratulations. There are many reasons why I was able to receive this award, starting with my 2 owners, Rick Pavlick and his nephew, Brandon Pavlick. They are not just owners, but more importantly, they are the main drivers of our team, with a do what is necessary to win work ethic that passes down to all the other team members, including Jay Carruthers, along with his wife, Paula. Both are invaluable members of our race team. They always make sure there is nothing left undone. Rick's wife, Maria, who puts the finishing touches on what is necessary and the last-minute details that needs to be addressed. Additional help comes from Spud Hemp, who's always willing to add his 2 cents worth, and my good friend Sam LeBanco with Advanced Technologies Information. But for myself, my inner drive is honoring the other original owner of BB Racing, Roger Bubalik, who is no longer with us. Everyone involved is a secret behind our racing team, which makes for one heck of a team, which also includes our sponsors. Gerald Boussard, Pizza Inn, Port Neches, Texas. They've been with me for over 20 years. Jerry Pettifer, Jerry's Marine, Lake Charles, Louisiana. He's also been with me for over 20 years. Jim Slack for providing support and a helping hand when needed. And my lifelong best friend and mentor, Ron Thomas, the foot doctor. Without him, I don't know where I would be. I'd like to mention when I first started in stock outboard, Sam Hemp B&H Hydros gave me that helping hand my first few years. Thanks to Gary Pugh. So lucky I get to drive the last boat he ever made. Boy, what a boat. And a special thanks to David and Craig DeWald, DeWald Props. Can't say enough for the help they gave us last year. BB Racing is also proud to have attended mostly all the races again, thanking Tim Siebold and John Schubert, F1 Powerboat Championship Racing Series, Dan Bunting's Powerboat Racing Series, Sam and Sharon Weinert's Powerboat Super League. Unfortunately, this year, in our category, we lost in the boat racing world Greg Foster and Bobby Briggs. Both will be greatly missed. For me, this is hard being up here because I'm not a talker. People mistake me because of that, but I've tried to make sure things tonight that I didn't forget something that needed to be said or someone that I needed to recognize. I can only hope I covered it. That's my disclaimer. I always want to say how privileged I am to have been associated with, raced against, and been working with some of the great all-time greats in this sport of boat racing and APBA. A big thank goes to my wife, Mary, who's always there pushing me. Lastly, thank you, everybody. Have a memorable and a fun-filled evening.
Logan Sweeney has had an impressive track record throughout his 15-year career, and in 2023, he triumphed in the stock outboard category. This year alone, Sweeney secured a regional championship, claimed second place at the divisionals, clinched the highly sought-after 2023 national championship title, and reigned supreme as the High Point champion in C-Stock Runabout.
So I've been sick for the past week and a half. So my dad offered to help me write my speech. So this is my first time seeing this, so please bear with me. Let's see what we got here. I owe all my success to my dad. I am so lucky to have him as a dad and crew chief. I literally would not be standing here today without my dad. My dad is so No, not saying that one. All my competitors, no. Not saying that one either. Joe Pater, no. Is that even legal to say? No. No, I'm just going to speak from the heart. It's great to be up here again. This is actually my first induction in stock outboard. It's also the first time I won nationals after falling out of my boat. There's so many people to thank for me to get back on the water, and too many to remember. You really know who all your friends are when your chips are down. Jerry Davids, Dave Bennett, and Mike Pavlick were all thrashing. They have always been there for me my entire racing career. Luckily or unluckily for some of you, Mike Pavlick even managed to keep a shirt on. We are losing two very popular racers in this year due to retirement. Two racers who represent APBA and what it stands for. They both demonstrated great sportsmanship, leadership, and were both great role models to many other racers on and off the course. Makes me sad to think I won't be seeing them race again on the water. They both dominated the winner's circle, locally and nationally. Both are in the Hall of Champions. One is actually being inducted here tonight for the third time. George Luce, congrats on an amazing season and career. The other one is my mom, Amy Sweeney. One of the most decorated female racers of all time. 3 national championships, 6 national high point championships, 6 world records, and induction into the Hall of Champions. I'm so proud of you for everything you've accomplished in boat racing, and I'm proud to call you my mom. I'd also like to add that Austin Vanover, you can relax. You don't have to worry about my 57-year-old mom kicking your butt anymore. I thought after winning nationals, high points, and winning the Paul Cobb Award in 500 mod runabout, I might have the shot at the Hall for the mod division as well. But now that I think about it, maybe it's better that I didn't. We don't want to miss out on Braxton's crazy stories. I want to thank all the volunteers at APBA for all their hard work and dedication to the sport. Our APBA inspector, Kurt Romberg, spends many hours driving to and from race sites and spends many hours in the hot sun inspection of our races. Some might say Kurt is a little bit OCD. I'm not so sure about that, but one time, he was helping my dad break a motor in, and we had a small leak on the gas tank, which we knew about, and for some reason never got around to fixing it. My dad had to run up to the trailer to grab something while Kurt had to wash the boat for us. When my dad got back to the boat, Kurt said, "Did you know that your tank drips every 17 seconds?" That means he took out his watch and timed it in between each trip. I also want to congratulate Dustin Pearson, not only for winning 25 runabout nationals, setting 2 world records, winning the Menzies Award, or even being inducted into the Hall of Champions. No, I want to congratulate you on finally winning a cornhole tournament. I mean, it only took you becoming my teammate, but I know how much it bothered you coming in second place all these years. But now you're a champion boat racer, and more importantly, a national cornhole tournament winner as well. Lastly, I want to thank Dave Bennett for everything you've done for us. But can you please stop building C runabouts for everyone in the country? Thank you. I also want to thank Jerry Davids and Joyce Golly for always being there for our family. Steve Dunn, I would not be up here without you, without your help. Mike Pavlick, you're awesome. That's it, you're awesome. And especially my family, Michael, Audrey, and Rylan, and of course, my mom and dad. I love you.
Known for his passion and precision, Mikey Pavlick has secured his spot in the APBA Hall of Champions for the 4th time. With an astounding 10-year career under his belt, Pavlick has obtained numerous accolades. In 2023 alone, he raced to a divisional championship, High Point Championship, and an impressive trio of national championships in B-Stock Hydro, C-Stock Hydro, and 20 Super Stock Hydro.
I negotiated with Tracy over there. If I stay under 2 minutes, we get another 3 Abraxan at the end. All seriousness, I'm truly humbled to be a part of this tonight with so many great racers. It's really a privilege to come here, get to spend a whole week with all you guys, sometimes too late into the night last night, and it makes this whole week worth it. It's one of the highlights of my year, even without the induction. I have a couple people I like to thank. I'd like to thank the Olsen family for everything they've done, boat racing-wise, but also, just years of friendship, life lessons from Tad, friendship with Cody. It's just, really appreciate you guys and wouldn't want to do it without you. I'd also like to thank all my extended family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. They're my biggest fans. I think Tracy got like 18 friend requests from different Pavlicks around the world when she was live streaming up at the Nationals. Finally, I would like to thank my family. you know, it's the best thing in the world to have you guys at Wakefield this year. It meant so much to me that you guys could be there. I'd like to thank Will and Ben, even though they have a combined 0 boat races, I would venture they probably know as much about putting together Yamato really well as anybody in this room from all the times where, oh, you might, can you hold that? Can you? And then it turns into 3 hours, and you know how that goes. I'd like to thank my mom. Sure dog, you're the best. We couldn't do this without you, no question. I'd like to thank my brother Jared for his all of his continuous help, all the times sleeping in the car while I'm driving to the boat race. Going 1-2 at Wakefield with you this year was seriously the highlight of my career, and that was seriously the best. That was so much fun. Finally, I'd like to thank Logan basically did everything. He thanked my dad 10 times, but this speech could definitely all just be thanking him. It's, you know, the class has changed, races changed, whatever, but it's still that 110-degree day at Depew where, you know, Asian carp are flying and hitting you, and you're trying to find that one last little tenth, and, you know, that's what I love the most about boat racing, and I can't thank you enough for doing it. And, yeah, that's all I got. More Braxton time for you guys.
Dustin Pearson is a record-breaking force on the water. With a career spanning 15 years, he dominated the 2023 season, crushing the 25 Superstock Runabout and B-Stock Hydro straightaway records and claiming victory at the regional, divisional, and national levels. He's a force to be reckoned with. Pearson finished second in high points and is the proud recipient of the prestigious Henry Menzies Award. Stay tuned for more thrilling victories on the horizon.
Buckle up. Boardwalk, what? We did it, boys. The Pearson name is in. We did it. Oh boy, now that you're all are in the light and I can't see anyone, this is great. I can't tell if I'm going to puke or pee, so we'll make this quick. Ease is the greatest threat to progress than, ease is the greatest threat to progress than hardship. That's a quote by Denzel Washington. And it's my favorite quote, and it definitely sums up not just this year, but my entire race career. It hasn't been easy. These 6 guys that I want to thank, they're a 6-headed monster. That's Mark Tate, Joey Z, Dave Bennett. They build some great motors for me. Mark Kurz, Paul Troyan, you guys have built me some excellent boats to race with. Dave Bennett is in there too from racing his stuff last year. Craig DeWald, Dave Bennett, you guys have built me some unbelievable fast props. This year was pretty special. Obviously, it's my first time getting inducted. I need to thank the Boskers, Luke and Troy, Joey Z, the Sweeneys, of course, Tom and Sam Fairburn, and Rich Runny for letting me borrow rigs to go break records with or race with the entire year. Some big help that's been specifically this year was the Sweeneys again, Rick and Braxton Miller, the Affolters, Paul and Chase Fairburn, Corey Merrill and Colby Crook, Dave Bennett again, Jerry Davids again, my Uncle Gordon, and my 2 cousins, Danny and Josh, my dad, my brother. They've all been a huge part in my success over the years, and especially this one. The HOC help that I got this year was pretty good. When I was talking to one of my good buddies, he said, you'll find out who your friends are. And the Sweeneys definitely stepped up and called me all the time and we're asking where you're at with the points every weekend, telling me what to do, come up with a game plan, what I need to do, and I had it set out what I wanted to do, and they just kind of backed that up for me. And even though Logan and I were running against each other, they were very transparent on what they were doing, as was I. Others that I want to thank are Johnny Wodarski, Dave Bennett, Jerry Davids, the Pavlicks. You guys were all very encouraging this year. I can't thank you enough for helping me get in. It was great. It's a great ride. Some singles that I want to name are Robert Trollian. You're my dog. I love you. Dave Bennett, you and I have been getting close these last few years. I think the guys might give you a little bit too much credit after you just got beat by an outcast this year, but your boats are pretty good. Jerry, you've provided so much help this year, specifically. Every out-of-state race I was at, you were there helping me out. Paul Trollian, always calling me, wondering how I'm doing, or if Robert's giving him the updates, he would call me right away and congratulate me and always say, I knew you could do it. I knew you had it in you. My mom and dad, you guys have taught me what hard work and determination can accomplish my entire life, and that anything worth doing is worth doing right. Never give up. Danny and Josh, like so many other times that you've been there for me, tonight you're here. Thank you for everything you've done. Josh, you're my hero. My one true boat racing hero, dude. I watched you when I was growing up, and coming you through that channel at Top Boat was something I've always wanted to do, and I did it. So thank you for getting me in this sport, you and your dad. I love you. The most important person in my life. She taught me what true love is, unwavering love, taught me what care she had for me. I knew that she could believe in me, in spite of myself when I was down. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for Devin Pearson. And I mean that. I met Devin in a bar in Indian River. And if you guys know John Broge's Mohawk, back in the day, I had a Mohawk at the time and it rivaled his. It wasn't up when I met Devin, it was actually underneath a hat. And I saw Devin over at the jukebox and I walked straight up to her, looked her right in the eye and I said, "You are beautiful." And she said, "Thank you." And I turned around and she saw the rat tail hanging out of my hat at the time, and that was all it took. So she's been monumental in my boat racing success. She's never ever once deviated from the goals I've had in the year, and she's been a rock in my entire marriage and racing career. I love you. And going forward, 2024, you pro boys, I'm coming for you. Thank you, APBA. Congratulations to the rest of the 23 inductees, and go Lions!
The unstoppable duo of Tyler Miller and Myrick Coyle bring Team MCon Monster Energy back for another trip to the APBA Hall of Champions. From conquering the field in Supercat to piloting their Class 1, they've achieved remarkable victories in the 2023 season. With a High Point Championship, World Championship, and a 140-mile-per-hour kilo record under their belts, they are setting new standards in the racing world.
is bright, very bright. Good evening. Wow, what a fantastic event and such a wonderful banquet. Thank you to all the staff, the amazing folks, that work tirelessly behind the scenes to make an offshore racer's dream like myself come true. So I'd like everyone to give a round of applause for all the staff and everybody behind the scenes that makes something like this possible. So, stood here last year in Seattle, nervous, jitters, first Hall of Champion, back again this year. Nothing's changed, still just as nervous. So, bear with me here. Very humble to stand here before all y'all for the second time. The commitment, passion, support, and determination, is less than nothing but the best that's put out, that APBA instills in the sport of powerboat racing. And it's a true blessing to all of us in offshore. I'd like to formally thank Mr. Chris Fairchild, Mr. Rich Lures. Without their continued support to make offshore great, again, things wouldn't be advancing like they are today. Rich has been instrumental in so many ways for not only MCON Racing, Supercat, and Class 1, but he has been a steward for everyone and everything, top to bottom, in offshore racing. Rich, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. MCON thanks you. The entire offshore community thanks you, as well as Tyler and Lindsay Miller. Thank you, Rich Lures. The 2023 season for MCON Racing was a very challenging year, to say the least. For the first time in 20 years, Skater Powerboats built us a new Class 1. We journeyed into that class, and with that came a lot of the new boat blues that everyone in this room that's a boat racer has experienced. Midway through the season, the Supercat class, our racing was going very good, very good. Finishing a lot of races at the top on the podium, and we were super excited. We hit Sarasota, Florida, and Myrick doesn't like me to talk about this, but on the last lap, we were leading by, I believe, about 7 to 8 seconds. Our arch nemesis, Pro Floors, was battling behind us, and we had about a quarter of a mile left to go in a 60-mile race. Our starboard side engine lost water pressure due to a bad fitting, and as an owner and a throttleman sitting in the boat, I had a decision to make. Everybody that's a racer knows what decision I made. I kept the throttle on the dash, caught the boat on fire, burnt the engine down, burnt the back half of the boat off, and but we ended up coming in second. So hey, life's good. Life's good. Leading into that, so we had another race that we followed up with in 2 weeks. And if you guys have been around the offshore community, it takes a substantial amount of time to put these things back together when a ding dong like me tears things up. So we have an unmatched skill team with true grit, attitude, that we won't stop till we're on top, determination that allowed us to prevail. Our crew, Mike, Dave, Jake, and Sid, are here with us tonight. The remaining crew, Craig and Chelsea Antmeyer, unfortunately had other commitments, and they could not attend. This group is the true ultimate warriors that we rely on to keep our program #1 in the nationals, #1 in the world, with back-to-back-to-back APBA national championships and back-to-back world championships. So they've been making fun of me for having to stand up here and do a speech. So at this point in time, Mike, Dave, Jake, and Sid, please stand up. This award is for all of you. MCON Racing is forever in your debt to the sacrifices, support throughout the season and beyond. It is my honor to call you all family, and thank you all from Lindsay and I from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. From Peter Ledden, the family at Skater Powerboats, to our amazing engine builder, Mike DeAnnabelle, and his wife, Connie, at Sterling Performance, to Performance Boat Center, always having our back through the ups and downs and keeping us going, and so many more I want to say thank you to. Everyone is so instrumental to this award, and we are very humbled. To Monster Energy, thank you for taking a chance on the first time sponsoring and promoting offshore racing, and thank you for choosing MCON Racing. We are so humbled to represent your brand and look forward to a continued future of podium finishes and unleashing the beast. And thank you to P1, especially Thomas Covington, for making big sponsor dreams, memories, and all those things come true. Thomas was very influential in bringing Monster Energy to offshore racing, and he's continuing to work out plans to bring it across powerboat racing globally. So let's hang in there with Thomas and make this thing happen. To Myrick Coyle, standing not in the light behind me just yet. Myrick, you are the baddest offshore mofo on the planet. Thank you, bro, from the bottom of my heart, riding beside me through all of the chaos, challenges, and success. You're first class in every class in my books, and I'm so happy to call you family. Thank you, Myrick. This is Myrick's third time on the stage, so he should have no problem with his speech, right? Also, thank you for sharing your amazing family with me, Myrick, and my wife, Lindsay, as well. We appreciate all your support from your kids and your amazing wife, Missy. It's a family in offshore racing, and we're so blessed to have you all. My family, my mother, my father, Briar, Braley, Bentley, Barrett, Tyler G., their support through all of offshore racing, through its crazy ups and downs, is unsurpassed, and I continuously thank them and love them by my side throughout every race and every venue that we go to. And to my wife, Lindsay, standing back there, yeah. She's the offshore racing goddess in my eyes. I love you. Can't thank you enough for always pushing me to take life to the limits. You are my everything, babe, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud to share this moment with you in life and so many more memories to come. For any of you who've had the pleasure to meet my wife, Lindsay, you'll understand I totally outkicked my coverage, and I'm very, very thankful every day for that. Thank you to the APBA and the Hall of Champions. This is truly an honor. Cheers to a great 2023. We are determined to make 2024 the best racing year yet. And to my sister Jamie in heaven, love you. Thank you.
That's a hard one to compete with. Hey, everybody. I won't talk about this light, but it is. I'm very appreciative of this award. First time I came here, I didn't realize what it was, and now that I've got it for my third time, it means more and more every time. First and most important, I want to express my deepest thanks to my smoking hot wife, Missy, who is also the mother of our 4 great kids, and I told her to keep it down to at least one adjective on how I describe her. So her unwavering support and love has been the anchor through all of our challenges and triumphs. Heartfelt appreciation goes out to the exceptional team of MCon, Monster Energy Racing, especially the Miller family. The dedication and hard work that they've done has been instrumental, and I'm proud to be in their shared success. Together with the support of my outstanding employer, Performance Boat Center, and all of its employees, we've been able to navigate the waters of challenges and accelerate towards achievement. The Miller's contributions have been invaluable. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed, and I am grateful for the positive impact you've made on the sport of offshore racing and on me. Being around Tyler makes you a better person. He is such a great guy. I'd also like to give a shout out to the safety crews that wake up early, put themselves in harm's way to make sure that we make it home to all of our kids and all of that. It's just unbelievable. You show up to a driver's meeting at 6 in the morning and they're already there ready for you to go through all of your stupid human tricks that you have to do to make sure that you're all right to get in that boat. Lastly, I'd like to raise a toast to the world of powerboat racing, the adrenaline, the camaraderie, the pursuit of excellence that have made the journey unforgettable. Tonight, as we gather here at the Hall of Champions, let us celebrate the victories, both big and small, that have brought us here, and thank you for all being part of this incredible voyage. And again, thank you, APBA. And I really liked the Go Lions one. Yeah!
One more thing. We're flying back to Kansas City tomorrow, and the Chiefs are going to take it home. Thank you.
Champions of the Offshore Bracket Class 700, 16-year-old Cameron Turk paired with multi-time world champion Robert Bryant take their Turk Family Racing X Insurance boat right to the top. Securing a seat in the Hall of Champions for the first time as High Point and world champions, they are paving the way for excellence.
Thank you. I wanted to start by saying this has been one hell of a first season. And I want to give a big shout out to Robert Bryant. You know, he offered me a boat ride in Inglewood. I denied it because I wasn't ready. And so I built a brand new boat, offered him a ride, and we're here today. So I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you. I want to thank him for sharing his family with us, his beloved children, and his great throttleman skills. I also wanted to thank my Billy Stroud, my crew chief, Rick Lindsay, and Michael Stancombe. Without them, none of these would have been possible. I want to give a big shout out to X Insurance, La Quinta Inn, Cocoa Beach, JT Social Bar, and Atlantis Urgent Care and Golf and Gator. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. They pushed us all the way through the first season. I'm very glad to call them our sponsors. Thank you.
So I want to say I started writing my speech, realized I can't read, so here I am as boat racer. It's been a hell of a season, like he said. You know, we started out a rookie driver, you know, no real goal in sight, and throughout the season we progressed, became High Points champion, and then it was like a realization we could make it here today and be in Hall of Champions, and I'm just proud of him. I'm thankful for JJ and the whole Turk family for putting together a great boat with us and, you know, really just being there for us as a team. My wife, Katie, chasing a 7 and 2-year-old down the beach for 45 minutes while we're out there doing our thing. And everybody here for celebrating all this. Thank you.
Austin Vanover returns to the APBA Hall of Champions for the 5th time in his 24-year career. In 2023, Vanover took modified outboard by storm, dominating in 500, 750, and 850 mod hydro. Clinching 2 national championships, 3 High Point championships, and an Eastern championship, his skill and determination led to another impressive season.
I do hate to correct the guy in the sky with the cool voice, but this is my 6th time being inducted. I've spent majority of my racing career trying to fill my dad's shoes. I've heard a lot of people along my career saying, "You'll never be as good as your dad." Thank you, Gary Miller. And so just as I'm starting to, I think, maybe fill his shoes, I go ahead and marry my wife, and now I'm not even the best driver on my team. And then another situation, I started driving in pro outboard for Mr. Mike Thurlby, who is also a legend. And just as I'm starting to do kind of good for him, he goes and hires this Jason Saylor guy, and now I'm a nobody again. But seriously, I do want to congratulate Jason Saylor on his first induction. How cool is it that we're here in Florida where he's from so he can invite his 110 closest friends and family? My favorite thing about the induction and that's why I didn't use as many action shots, try to use team shots, is I get to give flowers to my team because I'm not up here without them. And my dad, Eric Vanover, and our other owner, Cliff Johnson, were not able to make it. And it doesn't even feel right standing up here and accepting any awards without them here because I'm nobody in this sport without them. I also have to thank my wife. When I got engaged, everyone said, oh, you know, that might be the end of your racing career now. And I will say boat racing with her is actually easier because she pretty much just does everything now, and I just race boats. Kind of like at home, she makes my lunch, she does laundry, she even ironed my clothes tonight. I also have to thank my father-in-law, Paul Pittman, who built me an amazingly fast 500 mod hydro. I need a faster one, though, because I couldn't win the Nationals. I have to thank Herb Lamphere and Mark O'Brien for letting me be a part of their team as well. I don't think I crash anyone's boats more than Mark, and he still keeps letting me drive them. I also would not be up here without Bob Koshka and Gary Miller and all of their crewmates on their teams, Steve Dunn as well. I have many, many adoptive race mother and fathers. I could stand up here all night thanking all of them. You all know who you are, and thank you. I also have to thank the Thurlby Automotive Racing team and all of, honestly, Pro Outboard, because they're just one huge family. It's all these rowdy, stupid people that are here that you guys have been hearing all night. Thank you guys for welcoming me and my family into your family. I have to thank the race committees as well, the inspectors, the referees, and the race directors, and especially the scorers, because anyone who has anyone in your club that races 8 classes a day, you know we're a pain. I have to thank all of my friends and my family back home that allow me to do this and understand. I miss countless birthdays and graduations of my closest family members and cousins and sisters, and they all understand why, and they continue to allow me to do this. I also do have to give another shout out to my wife. She also won a national championship last year in 350cc mod hydro, and I'm sorry to all of her competitors, but you will not be able to gain that title back from her because she can't race this year due to being pregnant. And she's having twins.
Celebrating a remarkable 40-year career, George Luce bid farewell to the racing scene and embraced retirement in picturesque Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. A true champion, he proudly holds 3 well-deserved inductions into the prestigious Hall of Champions. With the 2023 National and High Point Championship secured, Luce's dedication and skill have earned him one last seat in the APBA Hall of Champions.
Thank you. All right, I can't even see this thing. Okay. This year's win at the Nationals was a big one. I wasn't sure if it ever was going to happen. But being here tonight at the Hall of Champions is like the cherry on top. For those of you who don't know, this was my final year of driving the 88N. And for a few years, I've been thinking about retiring. But before I was ready to call it quits, I had a goal. I wanted one more national championship. One more would give me a Nationals win in 5 different decades. So in 2021, we set out for Springfield. Springfield, Lady Luck was going to be riding with my son James as he went on to win the Nationals, and I laid dead in the corner with a broken ignition wire. 2021 was not going to be my year. But Springfield did reveal some young talent that could potentially help me with my quest. Derek Gessler, I know you're not here tonight, but you helped me out a lot. And I can't thank you enough. You gave me the horsepower I needed to compensate for some of my less than perfect starts. You helped me stay ahead of some of those young guns. My son James being one of my toughest competitors, and some of my best memories of racing are with my son James, running 3 laps side by side with him close enough to peel the paint off the side of my boat. I started the 22 season with one of Derek's motor creations that I immediately recognized had potential. As the season progressed, I started to realize that we're going to go through some growing pains. We left Depew with a second place finish. Not what I wanted, but it was certainly encouraging. At the start of 2023, I said this will be my final year. Win, lose, or draw, that's it. So boating has always been part of my family's heritage. It's been in their blood. Both of my grandparents were outboard boat and motor dealers. My dad did some racing as a young man. He was an outboard motor mechanic. My brother always loved boating, a little bit different than me, but he liked the boats as long as they had a fishing rod holder, a place to stow a cooler, somewhere to take a nap, and that was his desire for boats. But my brother would come by my house occasionally, and he'd see me busting my ass on a boat, spending a fortune on a boat that he looked at that was, to him, completely useless. So, and then I take that boat, put it in a trailer, drive across the country, run 3 laps around a lake, put it back in the trailer, and go home. He thinks I'm completely insane, and he might be right. And I tell him, but wait, there's others out there, hundreds, maybe even thousands, that are equally as insane. And we even have an organization that keeps track of our insanity. And at the end of every year, we have a celebration to honor those that are about the craziest. So earlier this evening, I said this was the cherry on top. It's not quite, it's close. The real cherry on top is the 40 years that I spent with all of you, that I now call my friends, my family, my competitors. I've spent hundreds of weekends with all of you, barbecuing, drinking too much, cooler bobbing. You guys even got me to dress up as a woman for Halloween. We've traveled across the country. One of you I even drove to your wedding in my race boat. The guys at work have come to me at the start of the week and they'll say, "How was the races, George?" And I start to explain to them the partying, the drinking. Occasionally somebody runs through the pits naked at 3 a.m. and he says, "George, sounds like you really have a good time at the races." And I said, "I'll put it this way. If I was pulling out of my driveway and the wheels fell off my boat racing trailer, I'd just unhitch it and keep right on going." Thank you all for a lifetime of memories.
With 3 Hall of Champions inductions in just 5 years, Braxton's dominance in modified outboard is unparalleled. Winning has become second nature to him, with victories in 350 mod runabout, 500 mod runabout, and 400 mod hydro at the North American Championships, and securing the High Point and National Championships in 500 mod hydro. Not to mention being honored with the prestigious 2023 Bob Goller Award. Braxton's track record speaks for itself.
What's up? Thanks. Congratulations, George, on your retirement. I looked up to you for a long time. I remember the first time I met you, I was 10 years old, and I walked up to you and asked you if you were a Mexican or not. I didn't realize I was going to have as much time. Thanks, Mike. I would have probably wrote more, but it took a lot of time to try to come up with an idea, and I was calling a buddy, and I was like, I need some ideas, and we were bouncing ideas off of each other, and I was like, you know, in the middle of just trying to explain to him a story, and at this time I thought Ed Hearn was going to be the MC, so I was like, there's going to be I was talking about how I was having dreams about him and hoping that he would have another night where he'd be up here saying my name, and my buddy cut me off and was like, Braxton, somebody's going to take that the wrong way. I was like, no one's going to take that the wrong way. All they got to do is look at how many kids he has, and they're going to know what his favorite hobby is. I've grown up to really like Ed Hearn and respect him, but when I was a little kid, I didn't like him, and I had a nickname for him. My nickname was Ed the Dickhead. All right. So I jotted down a story, and this story is interesting. It's about a homeless guy. No, I'm just joking. Anyways, I'll start off with a testing incident. I was in Grove testing a couple of days before Nationals, and I was running, and I was trying to make one last pass, and I was with a buddy of mine. Rick was at work. This was before Howard was around, and there was a guy fishing, and I made him mad, and he ended up running his boat right in front of me right before, and I ended up stuffing it, and the boat went into splinters. And my buddy's standing on the bank, and luckily there was a police officer that was there, and he walked up, and he's like, should we roll EMS out here? And my buddy's like, well, his body is unconscious. And so anyways, they haul me in. I get up. About this time, I'm coming to, and and they ask me, hey, we got a question for you. I'm like, I'm fine. No, we got to answer this question. I'm like, what's the question? They're like, who's the president? I'm like, Chris Fairchild. They're like, something's wrong with this boy. And so about this time, Rick shows up, and he was at work, got off, he was on his lunch break, and he showed up, and he's like, I hate to leave you with all this mess, but you see all this scattered stuff, it looks like I need to get back to work and make more money. And so, anyways, I was hauled off to the hospital, and they were checking me, and I was talking to a doctor, and they were about to release me, and he's like, okay, we just need to do one more test before we let you go. And it was reading, they put up a box, and you had to read all these letters, like E, I, P, Q, or whatever. And I went ahead and did the test, and he's like, you failed. And he's like, in order to pass it, you have to be able to read it correctly. And I'm like, doctor, I'm dyslexic. There's no way I can pass this test. And I'm on my way back home, and I got a call from Leonard. And he's like, are you on your way home? I'm like, yeah. He's like, no, you're not. You got a motor to clean out. And I was all confused. I didn't know. He's like, And I, at that moment, I didn't even know who the guy was. I was so rattle-brained at the time. And so anyways, I talked in my buddy to helping me. And so I'm laid up on the couch. I'm not able to walk, not able to barely even think. And I'm trying to guide someone to clean out a motor that's never cleaned out a motor before. And so I'm like, first thing you do, take the spark plugs out. Well, he goes, he comes back. I'm laying on the couch. He's like, is this it? I'm like, no, that's the carburetor. And so a few minutes later, I hear a loud bang. And I look over, and everything's on fire. My truck, engine, my buddy's on fire, laying on the ground. And so I decided I ended up crawling out, grabbing the water hose, put the fire out, and I put the fire out on the engine first, not my buddy. And then that was about 2 hours after my incident, and the same paramedic that showed up out there showed up to that incident. He walks in, and my buddy's all burned up, and I'm just laying on the floor, and he's like, boys, I reckon this ain't your day. And so I'm laid up at night, and I give John Ruff a call. He answers the phone. He's like, I thought you were dead. I was looking for a new driver. And so, but a lot of this was before we had Howard. Now we have Howard, and he would have been there and been able to take care of the situation. He's been new and great, but he's been with us, and he was asked me one time. He's like, I needed to. What's it take to get in one of these boats? Well, I'm like, well, for starters, you're too fat. I was like, in order to drive our boat, you need to weigh about 220 pounds. Well, about 6 months later, he was 90 pounds less than when he started 6 months later. So, it's a lot of hard work, even though Scoop says it's meth. So I ended up, he got down to the weight I told him, and I honored my promise. And we were at a race, and no one wanted to drive. It was so hot, so all of a sudden I looked over at him. I was like, grab my helmet, get this suit on, and race this race. And it was 850 hydro, our fastest class we have. So he takes the suit on, he goes out there and races. And then after the race, we had the entire judges stand in our pits pissed off. They're like, we don't know who you are. You need to sign out, fill all this information, or we're going to disqualify you. And Howard was like, well, you don't know who I am. How are you going to disqualify me? And so I'll just have one last one. It was at the Pew, and it was one of the nights we were out partying and everything. And we were all dancing out front. And the band was going, and I was dancing with Bonnie Markward and Kiera Markward, and I think Charlie. And all of a sudden the band stopped, and they're like, well, we're going to cancel this soon because the storm's coming, and everyone started booing them. And all of a sudden, the wind struck up, trees were taking people out, and people were scrambling. And so I looked over, and it was just Kiera staring at me like this, screaming. And so I stuffed her underneath the stage, and I look at, as I'm underneath there, I see a boat, engine and all, rolling down the bank. And it was Bob Warringer's. And so so we went and put it back up on his stage, and it was all good. I guess it didn't even cause damage, but I would have worked more, but I didn't know I was going to have more time. Hopefully Ed Hearn don't kick my ass out there.
The legendary J. Michael Kelly has been dominating the water for years. Inducted an incredible 10 times, his victories in both the inboard and unlimited categories are beyond compare. From driving the Beacon Electric Unlimited under Strong Racing to a Gold Cup victory, earning multiple High Point championships, and securing Eastern and Western Divisional championships with the Y41 Shenanigans, he has left a lasting mark on the sport. With record-setting performances in inboard and unlimited, J. Michael Kelly is a force to be reckoned with on any race course.
Yeah, of course I've got to go after Braxton. I knew that was going to happen. But no, really, last night, I think it was, well, maybe it was this morning about 3:30, when I was hanging out with everybody, which was not a good idea. I decided I was going to write a speech. And then I went to bed, woke up, read my speech, and it made no sense. So yeah, here I am. But no, really, just really like to start by thanking APBA and everyone that's involved for helping make this sport what it is and what we love to do. Just what an amazing year it was for me. Racing outboards, inboards, unlimiteds, all while helping my son Carson, watching him succeed and getting to share this special night with him and the accomplishments that we had together. It makes me feel good inside that since Carson has started racing, that I've also been able to continue as well. It's amazing that 2 years in a row, Carson and I have both been inducted into the Hall of Champions. I can't say that I'm ready to stop racing yet, but time will come when it's right. With my youngest Asher coming up in 2025, my hands will be full. My ultimate dream is to be able to race against both of them in an unlimited one day. Hopefully I still have a ride by then. I started racing boats in 1987. In 2004, I received a phone call from a guy by the name of Tom Andersen, who was crew chief for Jim Harvey, who was owner of the U2 Unlimited Hydroplane. He said, "How would you like to drive an unlimited hydroplane?" I was like, "Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to?" I asked him when. He said in 2 weeks in Tri-Cities. After the phone call, I was like, man, these guys are crazy. Who would put somebody like me in one of these things? At the time, I pretty much, literally, I really just started racing 5 liters. I think I maybe had 10, 15 heats, if that. Tri-Cities came around. I went out, got familiar with the boat. It was the first time I'd even been in an enclosed cockpit. The 5 liter that I drove didn't even have a lid. And I'm probably the most claustrophobic person you'll ever meet, and here I am, I sit in an enclosed cockpit. So, sorry. So I went to Tri-Cities, my very first unlimited race, ended up making the final, led everybody to the first turn, ended up finishing 3rd overall, so that was pretty cool. 20 years later, here I am. Finally won my first team championship, my 2nd Gold Cup. I won a driver championship in 2021, but this is the first time that I'll get to put the number 1 on my race boat and get to run that. That's pretty special to me. This summer was a busy summer for me, juggling the outboards, unlimiteds, all-while racing inboard too. I drove for Tim Collins in the Shenanigans 1 liter. We won national high points, set 2 records, won Eastern Divisionals and Western Divisionals. Or no, actually, I take that back, just Eastern Divisionals. I can't say enough about Tim and his dedication. He drives the equipment to the West Coast and back to the East Coast every summer. He also does my radios in the Unlimited, and so he's also traveling to all the events with the Unlimited as well. I'm thankful to have him as a good friend and a guy that I can trust and a guy that talks to me on the radios and helps us win races. I also drove Jason Elhard's 2.5 stock. He goes by Monkey. We had our ups and downs, and one big upside down this summer where we had an accident that ended our season. But before that, we won 2.5 stock Western divisionals and 2.5 mod Western divisionals. Monkey's also on my unlimited race team. Over the years, I've won lots of things in racing and in different categories, but I can't say that I've done that all on my own. It takes a team, hard work, a family that supports you in the journey and dedication to the sport that you love. This year, there were so many people to thank. The first person is my wife, Angela. From the day I met her, I knew she would love racing and support my crazy life. She has definitely kept us on our toes with everything that she's been through, and so I'm just grateful that she's here and I get to share this with her. My boys for being my biggest fans and following my footstep. They absolutely amaze me with everything they do, and thank God they got their mom's brains and not mine. My dad, Jeff, for always working so hard to help me and making sure my boats are safe. My dad is the last one to shake my hand and close that lid and tell me to go kick ass before I go out. My mom and Cecil for everything that they do, and for me and their grandchildren traveling the circuit. I truly enjoy having my family around. Daryl and Vanessa Strong, I'm truly blessed that I get to drive for them and get to drive their unlimited hydroplane. They're amazing people and have provided our race team with more than we could ever hope for. They not only strive to put 2 boats out on the water that can win races, but also make sure our families enjoy it as much as we do. I got to thank Bill Cahill. Bill Cahill is the owner of Beacon Plumbing and our sponsor for the team. I've represented Beacon Plumbing numerous times in my driving career. This year, he really stepped up to the plate, not only sponsoring our race team, but also being the main sponsor for the Gold Cup race in Seattle. We are very lucky to have a guy like that who shares the same passion for this sport as we do. I'm almost done. Corey Peabody. I met Corey in 1st grade. We became really good friends over the years. I got him into boat racing when we graduated school. Now he is our team manager for the Unlimited Hydroplane team that I drive for. He has put together one of the best operations around. He has brought some amazing guys and gals onto our team that have made our team what it is. Having 2 race boats competing isn't an easy task, but we were able to finish 1, 2 in high points and win every race between the both of us. Lee Sutter. Lee has some of the fastest outboards in the country, and I'm lucky that I get to drive for him. Lee has become family, and I'm thankful for our friendship. We didn't get to go to every race this summer together, but we still had an amazing year. We set records, won divisional classes, and ran up front most of the time. There are a ton of people I know I need to thank. I probably have 30 people on my Unlimited Racing hydroplane team, so I'd be up here even longer. I just want every one of them to know how much I appreciate them all and how thankful I really am that I get to drive for them. I'm up here because of them and all their hard work. And thank you to everybody for supporting my family, myself. I've said it time after time, but this is why I love the sport and the family I've gained from it. So thank you.
Logan. It was 16 and a half seconds, not 17. Thank you all for coming and enjoy the rest of your evening. This concludes the 120th Annual APBA National Meeting. We'll see you next year in Reno.